Have you ever wondered why some of your deepest struggles in relationships feel almost ancient? As if they've been repeating themselves for centuries in men's lives long before you were even born? Why, no matter how much you try to be enough of a man, enough of a lover, enough of a provider, you still feel as though something invisible keeps moving the goalposts. I want you to sit with that question for a moment, because this isn't just about your life. This is about a story that has been unfolding for thousands of years, a story buried in the ruins of empires, whispered through the pages of philosophy, encoded in the psychology of desire itself. And the uncomfortable truth is this: what you are experiencing right now is not new. It is the ancient bargain of desire. Picture yourself not here, but in Rome. Not the Rome of postcards and marble ruins, but the Rome of its final days. The streets once filled with wealth, power, and certainty, now filled with chaos, hunger, and fear. Families crumbling as barbarian armies drew closer. And yet, in those desperate times, something peculiar happened. Loyalty fractured. Men returned from the front lines to find their wives had chosen survival over fidelity. Women attached themselves not to love, not to vows, but to whoever could offer safety in the storm. To us, this sounds harsh, even cruel. But if you strip away the sentiment, it reveals a simple truth. In times of collapse, mating strategies shift. And this is where you come in. Because even today, even in a world where civilizations have not crumbled overnight, the echoes of that instinct remain. Deep inside, you might feel it, that creeping fear that love is conditional, that loyalty is fragile, that you are only valued for as long as you can provide something. Have you noticed how often it feels like you're being tested? Not with questions, not with words, but with silence, with distance, with the subtle withdrawal of affection. It's as though you're standing on trial for something you can't quite name. Philosophers like Nietzsche understood this tension. He wrote about the will to power, not simply domination, but the quiet, unconscious push every human exerts to secure their place, their advantage, their survival. Relationships, despite what the poets may promise, are not untouched by this. Beneath the poetry, beneath the promises, lies the silent test of worthiness. You've felt it. When a woman says, "I just need a man who can handle me." When love feels like a ladder you're always climbing, only to discover the rungs never end. When peace in a relationship feels conditional on how well you perform, how well you lead, how much you give. This is the hidden bargain. Affection is not always a gift. Sometimes it's a negotiation.
Plato, centuries before Rome's collapse, told a story in his dialogues about how love can blind us. He warned that eros, the longing for completion, can enslave a man, make him chase illusions, and even lead him away from truth itself. And you've seen this, maybe in yourself, maybe in your friends. Men who lose themselves chasing approval, bending their backbone for scraps of affection, hoping that sacrifice will earn them love. But here's the uncomfortable twist. Sacrifice often breeds contempt, not devotion. The more you surrender without boundaries, the less you are valued. The more you pedestalize, the more invisible you become. What was supposed to bring you closer only drives her further away. This isn't a modern curse. This is as old as love itself. The Athenians warned about it. The Romans lived through it. And yet, we still fall into the same trap, confusing desire with devotion, confusing survival strategies with sacred bonds. Let's fast forward to something more recent. Chernobyl. When the nuclear disaster struck, people fled, families fractured, and men who had built their lives around providing stability discovered an unbearable truth. Stability can vanish in an instant. In times of disaster, women, like men, reverted to survival. Some abandoned husbands who were contaminated. Others clung to whoever had the resources or health to keep going. Again, harsh, but revealing. What Chernobyl uncovered was not just a radioactive wasteland, but a psychological one, the illusion that love is unconditional. It showed, brutally, that the instinct for survival often outweighs the instinct for loyalty. And if you're listening to this with a quiet ache in your chest, it's because, deep down, you've already felt that truth in your own life. Machiavelli, often misunderstood as a cynic, once wrote that people, both men and women, are more moved by necessity than by loyalty. Affection, he warned, can vanish when times get hard, but necessity binds. Translated into relationships, this means if you are only loved for the comfort you provide, then your love is fragile. But if you embody necessity, strength, vision, independence, you stop negotiating for affection. You command it. This is not about cruelty, nor about dominance. It is about refusing to play the endless test. It is about embodying the qualities that cannot be easily abandoned. Not money alone, not charm alone, but the unshakable gravity of a man who does not beg to be chosen.
Schopenhauer, who wrestled with the nature of desire more bitterly than most, once said that love is nature's trick to perpetuate the species, that our most sacred emotions are often disguises for biology's demands. It's uncomfortable to hear. We want to believe love is higher, purer, eternal. But his warning still matters. If you don't understand the instincts beneath affection, you become their victim. That doesn't mean love isn't real. It means love is layered. Some parts sacred, some parts biological, some parts transactional. And wisdom begins when you stop pretending otherwise. Now pause for a moment. Ask yourself, in your last relationship, did you feel truly seen? Or did you feel like a role you had to play? Provider, protector, entertainer, emotional anchor. Did you feel chosen or did you feel useful? And deeper still, how often have you betrayed yourself in the name of love? How often have you swallowed your truth, killed your own ambition, silenced your frustration because you thought it would keep the peace? You see, the danger is not that women test men. The danger is that men forget to test themselves, to ask, am I becoming who I am meant to be? Or am I shrinking, piece by piece, in exchange for approval that never lasts? Here is the paradox that few dare to speak. Love is both real and conditional. Women are both capable of devotion and of abandonment. Men are both strong and vulnerable. Survival and affection are always intertwined. The fall of Rome wasn't just about armies. It was about loyalties shifting when survival demanded it. Chernobyl wasn't just about radiation. It was about the masks of love falling away when life got hard. And your own heartbreak wasn't just about her. It was about the collision of instincts older than both of you. This doesn't mean love is hopeless. It means love is not what you thought it was. So what do you do with this knowledge? Do you grow bitter, hateful, resentful? No. That is the path of the weak. The path forward is this: stop bargaining for love. Stop trying to be enough for someone else's shifting criteria. Instead, become whole, become unignorable. Build a life so rooted in purpose, so heavy with meaning, that you are not chosen for what you provide, but for who you are. Because here is the secret. When you stop clinging, when you stop begging to be chosen, something changes. You become scarce, not desperate. You become magnetic, not needy. You stop being a role and start being a man. And in that shift, you discover a different kind of loyalty. Not the loyalty of survival, not the loyalty of transaction, but the loyalty of admiration, the kind that cannot be easily replaced. You are living in a world that wants you to forget this, that wants you pacified, obedient, endlessly seeking approval. But history, philosophy, and psychology all whisper the same truth. Desire has always been a bargain. The only question is whether you enter that bargain as a beggar or as a king. So the next time you feel tested, the next time you feel the silent trial of affection slipping away, remember, this is not just about her. This is about history, about survival, about instincts older than empires. And the choice before you is simple. You can collapse like Rome, forever chasing, forever negotiating. Or you can rise, like a man who finally understands that love is not the goal. Becoming unshakable is.